Hey guys, quick breakdown video just on an electric guitar unplugged to show you how to play the main parts of Hot's On for Nowhere by Led Zeppelin. As most Led Zeppelin songs, it starts on a very cool riff on which Jimmy Page is going to build, slightly changing it for every verse, putting inside some really cool interludes, and there's a few guitars going on the track. Usually in this phase of the Zeppelin career, you could hear the main guitar running and then the drums played live at the same time. The drums of Bonham are amazing. Only him could really play such syncopated patterns on such a syncopated riff. It's really at the essence of what Jimmy Page is, especially in the second half of the Led Zeppelin 70s career. The solos as well became very syncopated. You could hear him just hold back and to try to play the right phrase. Very unusual. I'm not really going to go into the solo in too much detail. I'll just show you the main position. It's a bit up to you to play pause with your iPod and try to do exactly the same solo. It's very hard to copy. I think the guy from Greta Van Fleet does a good job at it, but when he does it, it sounds a bit corny. So I wouldn't advise you to try to play like Jimmy, but it's cool to add some of his phrases that are very interesting. A lot of big bends, two tones and half tones. Very cool bands. But anyway, if you want to get the sound, the live sound of Jimmy is often on the middle position here. You balance the bridge and the neck tones. Usually I put the bridge 7/8, 5/6 on the neck. It's gonna give me that quack famous for Jimmy, and if I want something a bit more with more bite, I'll just go on the bridge only. Maybe turning up the volume on the bridge to 10. On the record, sounds like a Les Paul for the main guitars, but there's also a lot of tremolo arm actions. I'm guessing he was using his Strat there. Could have been a Bigsby Les Paul at the same time, but I think the Strat was used. Probably a mix of guitars. So there's not one Jimmy Page tone on the record. He's using a variety of things, of amps. Sometimes very small amps get a very big sound. Anyway, let's get to the song itself. The main riff, even the first note. Usually I play just it's in E, so I just play an open E. But you could also play the first 3 strings open. If you want it a bit more dirty, and if you play just the E string, up to you. It's cool if you want to see the song played live, check out Jimmy Page with the Black Rose, of course. 3 guitars playing slightly different things at different times. Very cool there. So let's just play the E. And then, so the first chord here, quite dissonant. Probably because my guitar is not even tuned. 5th fret on the A string. 4th fret on the D string. And then simply walk down 4th fret here on the A string. You have a hammer on 2 to 4 on the A string, 2nd fret on the D string, and a short E. That's what he's going to build on. Then the second time he's going to go, so it's a D, it's an E. You can just play the top 2 notes. I like to play the full chord. And then he's going to slide 9 to 11 and play the power chord again here. Cool thing to know, and it's gonna come back later in the video on the one of the bridges where it goes. So you can hammer on and you can slide. It's a cool thing to introduce into your playing, that position. you know, it's very inspiring. Little Skinner had used it as well. Then there's going to be a little break, which you can play. I tend to bring the finger here. It's a bit more stable for me. So it's 3/4 on the A string. Then I'm going to play all the notes on the D string, 2, 4, 5. But what I like to do is introduce this chord. So you add the 4th fret of the G string. You heard in the middle a little phrase, which I think is correct. I think that's what he plays. Might be slightly different on the record. So again, play pause the record to try to get it just right. The rhythm there is pretty complicated, and your bass player is going to have to follow. So you better have a good bass player if you're going to play that live. So it's the first 2 phrases are the same. The third one, you go back to the 2. Again, 3, 4. And a short A. And then there's an in-between phrase. 5, 5, 4, 2. And then again. And then it gets out. So once again, slowly. Sorry, the second time is he plays it only once because you introduce this thing in the middle. So it's once again. Second verse is introducing this thing where you're going to use the 3 strings here, A, D, and G. So first you have an E7. So you let the D string ring. You have the 2nd fret of the A string and the 1st fret of the G string. Then you move that up, so a full tone here and just a half here. So 4th finger, 4th fret on the A, still the open D, and you have the 2nd fret of the G. So it's a bit of a gymnastic. So the anchor is this finger, and this one you're gonna have to switch from one finger to the next. But then the other guitar, or maybe the main guitar, is going to do so, which is just bringing in 1 time higher. I used to use you can use those too, but then it's going to be difficult to move to this. So I'm using these fingers on the 5th fret of the A, the 4th fret of the G. I let it ring. You can even play the open B string, because it's the same as what you're playing there. And the rhythm is going to be up, down. What did I do there? I hammered on my E7. Then I hit the E. Actually, I'm going to mute it, but it's there, I think. You know, it's a bit of guesswork here, what Jimmy is doing. Probably you can change it every time you play it, but this is what I hear is the closest to the track. This really has to roll. So don't forget to use sometimes the up. try to get the right feel there. And since I'm talking, and then the second time is going to go. Maybe something like that happens as well. On the third verse, since I'm doing the verses, it's going to be just a big E. By the way, if you prefer, if you want to have a bit more sound, fill up the sound a bit more, you can play the riff, adding the second fret of the D string here. Doesn't really hurt, you know. It's all part of the chord. So you've got your three verses. We've seen the breakdown. One of the big parts is what I've already showed you slightly is pretty self-explanatory, going from an E to a D to the B. The first one I like to hammer it on. The second one I like to slide it in. You can do the opposite. Or hammer everything, slide everything. And then the third one, so it's 2, 4 on the A. I play it different ways, different times. I like to finish on the 4th string again on the A. I think it's a nice end to the riff. To me it sounds better than doing, but it's fine as well. At the end of the song, there's going to be an additional lick there. So one guitar is going to play, and the other guitar is going to play that. And I've seen that Jimmy Page plays it up the neck, which is a bit harder, except that it keeps you at the same position. So what it is, if you play it here on the light strings, it's on the G and the B string, 6th fret and 5th fret. Again, up, down. Then one time, 4th fret, 3rd fret here. And then you go on an A. And then again, you have the power chords of the B chord here. And if you want to play it up here, you're on the 11th fret of the D string and the 9th fret of the G string. You bring it down one step and then half a step, moving here from this with the 7th and the 6th, back to the 9 and the 7. And then power chord there, which is the B, same. So you're using fatter strings, so the sound is going to be different. So you might not like it, you might like it, you might think it's easier live. Nobody's going to make a difference. It's a bit of a gymnastic doing compared to, of course, but it's up to you. And then the final thing you're going to need to learn is that breakdown, which is easier than it sounds. It's in A. And trust me, even Jimmy Page sometimes is going to struggle with that one. It's one that you need to rehearse quite a few times before you have a gig, or before you need to record it. It's just a little gymnastic, and it's easier if you play it using the pinky. Force yourself, because it's harder to use. You're a bit on the wrong position there. It's easier to keep your hand a bit more vertical here. So what it does, you can play it twice here, or once here, once there. Usually when there's two guitar parts, I like to do one up, one down, so it's a cool mix when you only have one guitar live. So you're playing like an A chord solo. So it's 5th fret to 6th fret on the G, Then you play the 5th fret on the B and the E. Then you have the walk down 8, 7, 5 on the B. Then you have 7, 5 on the E. Then again, walk down. Then again the hammer on 5, 5. Again the hammer on. Either you do that or you do that, or you go to the A. So it's the same thing. You have an A, you have the A, and then I like to play it once high and once low. That comes again at the end of the song twice, and that's about all the parts. So the solo, not quite sure what sounds he makes there at the beginning. Probably an E and somewhere here, and I hear those 2 notes from the E chord. And apparently he slides from the 5th to the 7 on the A, and then 9 to 7 on the G. Then I think most likely he goes into this position, 9, 11, 9, 11, 12. So you have your classic box here, and the one just before that. Okay, so you have a big bends on the 12th fret of the G, and you use the 11 and the 12. So some big bends and some smaller bends. Probably goes to the 14th position there, and he does something he does a lot. So here the way you can do it, I do it up here, which is simply those raking through the 12s, finishing on the 14th of the D. I hit the 12th, then the 12th on the E, then I rake down all 3 12s, and the 14 on the D. Then again the 12th on the G. Might be wrong, but that's what I hear. Then some more bends, I forgot how it goes. Then something a bit more usual. And you have to make those little frills there, you know, a bit dissonant. So and at the end he's gonna finish. Oh, nothing, yeah, 12, 14, and a bit of power chords here on the 12. It's a bit up to you to listen to the solo to get it just right, or to somewhere where you're pleased with it. It's hard, as I said, to play it like Jimmy. Usually you sound stupid if you try to do it. Trust me. I play a lot of Led Zeppelin live with the band. You know, I try to adapt. Some solos are easy to play, like Black Dog or Rock and Roll. You know, they flow quite normally. Later on, the way he recorded and played live was a lot more of those hesitations, very instinctive, crazy lines of big bands. Very difficult to replicate. So I hope this was useful to you. Let me know in the comments. Sorry I'm not plugged in, it's just not convenient right now. I hope you could hear everything, and let me know if one of these positions causes you any trouble. Great song to learn, Led Zeppelin, and to, you know, practice some of the fingering. Even I don't do it quite perfectly yet, and incorporate that into your playing. That's the most important. Bye bye guys.